Single mom rescues drowning billionaire at midnight, but what happens next will haunt him forever. The air was thick with fog and secrets that chilly night. The moon peered through the clouds like an eye witnessing something unspeakable. Waves slapped against the dock, the sound sharp enough to shatter the stillness. It was almost midnight, a time when reality blurred with shadows and anything could happen. And it did. From the depths of desperation emerged a figure, flailing and gasping for air, a billionaire. The kind who had it all, yet nothing at all in the face of death. Jessie, a single mom just trying to make ends meet, had been cleaning the nearby pier, her thoughts drifting to her kids. That S when she heard it, the splashing, the panicked cries cutting through the wind like a knife. Without thinking, she dashed to the edge, heart racing, breath catching in her throat. The man was sinking, his designer suit clinging to him like a shroud. She could see the terror in his eyes, the reflection of moonlight sparkling against the water, highlighting the desperation of a man who's losing the battle. With a surge of strength fueled by instinct, she plunged into the icy depths. The shock gripped her, electrifying her senses. Every muscle screamed against the cold. The salt water tasted bitter, mixed with fear and adrenaline. Her hands grasped him, she pulled with everything she had, feeling his body weight threatening to drag her down. But solemn determination outweighed her fear. She was not about to let him drown. They surfaced together, gasping, the wind whipping around them like wild spirits. She dragged him to the dock, adrenaline numbing her exhaustion. He coughed, spluttering water, whole world shifting behind his startled gaze. An impossible moment, a single mom saving a billionaire, and yet neither knew the truth lurking to invade their lives. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. But as they caught their breath, the sky seemed to grow darker, almost like a storm of emotions gathering. The billionaire's eyes flickered with something that felt like appreciation and dread all at once. Was it gratitude or fear for the life he almost lost? Jessie felt an electric disturbance. The air was charged, the tension palpable. What was it that had driven him out to that dock at that specific hour? Why was a man with everything willing to risk it all, leaving behind a legacy of wealth for the sweet embrace of the abyss? The whispers of the night teased answers, but none made sense. The shadows shuffled behind them, as if curious figures awaited revelations no one wanted to share. And as sirens echoed in the distance, cutting through the stillness, a thought rooted itself deep within her: it wouldn't be the last time she would see him. The tangled fates between a single mom and a drowning billionaire were just beginning to unravel, and the stakes would only get higher. What haunted secrets lay waiting? And could they survive the truth when it finally surfaced? As sirens wailed closer, reality crashed back in, washing over Jessie like the waves themselves. The billionaire lay on the dock, shivering, water dripping from his hair, as confusion flickered behind those stormy eyes. Jessie had never seen someone so lost, so vulnerable. "Are you okay?" she asked. Her voice trembled from both concern and the freezing chill still clinging to her skin. He looked up, breathing hard. I didn't expect to be rescued. Thank you." Each word struggled to break free, like he was fighting a tide of emotions. There was a heaviness in his tone, one she soon realized was far from the physical drowning. Jessie felt warmth rush through her, an unexpected flutter of relief. And yet, in that moment, a knot tightened in her stomach. She sensed there was more to him, more than just a drowning man. The sound of arriving vehicles shattered the moment. Red and blue lights sliced through the fog, illuminating the surrounding space like a spotlight searching for the hidden. Jessie stepped back instinctively, unsure how to navigate this strange intersection of their lives. He can't just be another rich guy looking for attention, she thought, glancing over at his suit, the remnants of a grand life now stained with betrayal from the ocean. But why had he been here so late, willing to jump? She had her own world to contend with, her kids, bills, and the overwhelming feeling of being alone. As the paramedics rushed onto the scene, Jessie couldn't shake off the sensation that she had stepped into something much larger than herself. The billionaire slowly sat up, confusion creeping back into his features. One paramedic knelt beside him, checking for signs of shock, while another glanced at Jessie. "What happened?" he asked, his voice steady but curious. I saw him drowning," she said defensively, pointing to the man beside her. The words spilled quickly, scrambling to explain to protect. But as she spoke, the billionaire's eyes shot to her, an urgency igniting in his gaze. "Wait," his voice hesitated. He reached for Jessie's arm, gripping it tight, whether in gratitude or fear. She couldn't tell, but she felt electricity surge through her. "Please," he implored, "don't let them take me away." Jessie's heart raced with an unfamiliar pulse. Why would he be so desperate? She glanced toward the workers approaching, assessing the situation, but she felt tethered to him in a way she couldn't explain. The sirens faded into the background, along with the world she knew. "Why?" she whispered, leaning closer. The other paramedics paused, their attention divided between the billionaire and their responsibility to help him. "They'll say it was an accident, but it wasn't he. If they knew the truth, they wouldn't let me go," he said, panic creeping back into his voice as he looked from her to the approaching figures. "You have to trust me." Trust. The word hung in the air, heavy and filled with doubt, extremely present in a life where every choice felt calculated and uncertain. Jessie stepped back, the chill seeping back in as doubt crept in like shadows behind her. What truth could haunt him so? As the questions flooded her mind, she glimpsed something flash in his eyes, a reminder that the world he belonged to wasn't just about riches. It brimmed with darkness, power, and ghosts that refused to stay buried. Without a second thought, she made a choice, one that would spiral into unforeseen consequences. "Okay," she said. "But you'll have to tell me everything." Behind them, the world spun on, oblivious to their unfolding story. The billionaire took a deep breath, and just as he prepared to plunge into the secrets of his torment, a voice pierced through, one that would shatter their newfound bond. "Derek!" A woman shouted from behind the police line, storming towards them. The fierce look on her face stopped everyone in their tracks. Jessie's heart dropped. Who was she? What did she want? This wasn't over. Far from it. The night was only just beginning, and the stakes were rising higher. What could possibly unravel next? The tension in the air thickened as the woman approached, her heels clicking sharply against the dock, drowning out the chaos around them. Jessie's pulse quickened with each step she took. Derek's face twisted in an expression of sheer horror, as if he were watching a ghost approach. "Derek, what on earth were you thinking?" she shouted, her voice a blend of anger and desperation. "You could be drowned. I had to stop," he barked, breaking through the haze of their unfolding argument. Eyes darting between the approaching figures and Jessie, he let out a ragged breath, his voice painted with urgency. "You can't let her take me. You can't." Jessie's mind raced. Who was this woman? Was she really a threat? "Who are you?" Jessie demanded, stepping closer to Derek, shielding him even as confusion swirled inside her. "I'm his wife," the woman replied coldly, a flicker of something heartbreaking behind her hardened gaze. "And he should be locked away." Jessie's heart sank. The revelation hit like a punch. This man, battered like a cast-off toy, belonged to a world she barely knew. But why was she facing this stranger now, when she had just fought to save him? "Lock me away," Derek whispered, disbelief clouding his features. "If you knew the truth enough." "No one wants to hear your excuses," she snapped, raising her chin defiantly. "The police are here to take you back home where you belong. You should never have come here." Jessie felt caught between the woman's icy authority and Derek's plea, her instincts screaming at her to choose a side, but which one was right? Could either of them be trusted? She glanced at the paramedics. They were watching, waiting for a signal, but they knew as little as she did. The lights from the police cars flickered off the water, casting frantic shadows across the dock. "Derek, please," Jessie urged, trying to anchor him back to reality. "What happened? You can't just let them take you. You can trust me." His eyes, filled with confusion and fear, locked onto hers. "I'm not safe with her. She'll lie. Please, Jessie. If they take me, I won't survive the night." The weight of his words bore down on her. This wasn't just about rescue. It was now a fight for his life. The stakes rose higher, intertwining with her own breathless desire to understand. The police finally approached, 2 officers flanking the woman, who wielded authority like a weapon. "Step aside, ma'am," one of them commanded, directing his gaze at Jessie. "We need to assess the situation." "No," Derek shouted, the panic crystallizing into a raw edge. "I can't go back there." Before anyone could react, he bolted off the dock, racing past the paramedics and towards the water's edge. "Derek!" Jessie screamed. She could feel the adrenaline surging through her veins as she sprinted after him, the chill of the night air biting her skin. What was he going to do? The waves crashed in fierce rhythm against the dock, each swell pulling at her with their menacing strength. Had he lost his mind completely? Grabbing his arm just before he reached the water, Jessie yanked him back. She could sense the officers moving fast behind them, ready to intervene. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she hissed, breathless and frightened. "I need you to believe me." He turned to face her, eyes wide with desperation. "You don't understand. If I go back, they'll kill me." But as shock began to drown Jessie's reasoning, the world around them shifted. A loud crash echoed from the shore, and another figure emerged from the shadows at the end of the dock, a man, tall and menacing, his face barely visible in the dim light. The air thickened with tension. Jessie felt her heart pounding wildly. "Who is that?" she gasped, unsure how many secrets this night held. Derek's expression shifted from panic to something darker as recognition washed over him. "No, they found me." What dark revelation would come next? Derek's voice trembled as he saw the man emerging from the shadows, his broad shoulders silhouetted against the barely moonlit water. Jessie didn't know who this figure was, but the terror in Derek's eyes told her enough. "Derek, who is he? What's going on?" she pressed, holding his arm tighter, as if that could shield him from whatever danger awaited them. The man stepped into the light, revealing a face twisted with anger, a predatory sneer barely contained. "Look what we have here," he said, his voice smooth and cold like ice against skin. "The runaway. Did you think you could escape?" Jessie's instinct turned to fight. She felt the resolve building within her. "Stay back," she shouted, feeling incredibly small yet filled with a fierce determination. "Leave him alone." The man laughed, a deep rumble that echoed off the dock. "This doesn't concern you, sweetheart. This is family business." His eyes flicked to Derek, now frozen in place, every ounce of confidence stripped away. Jessie felt Derek's pulse against her fingers, racing with fear. "Derek, talk to me. What is he saying? Who is this guy?" Before Derek could answer, the man surged forward, a brutal intensity in his stride. Jessie felt the air crackle as he lunged towards them, and instinctively, she threw herself in front of Derek. "No!" she yelled, her voice mingling panic with defiance. "Move aside, you stupid girl." The man growled and Jessie held her ground, her heart pounding like a drum. Derek's eyes darted between her and the threatening figure. "Jessie, don't. He'll hurt you." "No," Jessie replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "I won't let him." The man hesitated, a flicker of surprise sweeping across his face. Jessie seized the moment, stepping closer, daring him to take another step. "You're not going to take him. Not while I'm here." Suddenly, the sirens of police cars filled the air, piercing through the tense standoff. The light from their rotating beacons lit up the scene, casting shadows that danced across the dock. The figure squared his shoulders, preparing to retreat into the darkness. "Your time will come, Derek," he spat, his eyes narrowing, before retreating backward into the shadows, disappearing as quickly as he had arrived. Breathless, Jessie turned to Derek, who looked more shaken than ever. "Why was he looking for you?" she demanded, feeling the weight of everything thickening between them. "I can't explain now. Not here. But what he said, he's part of something that has been following me, hunting me since I left." "What did you leave?" Jessie probed, anxiety curling in her stomach, the final layers of confusion peeling away. "I didn't want to expose you to this," he breathed, his face pale. "But if he knows where I am, they all might soon. We need to get out of here." The police arrived, officers emerging with flashlights, ready to assess the situation. Jessie shot a quick glance back toward the shadows, feeling a cold shiver creep into her bones. "In the car, Derek, now," one of the officers barked, while another approached Jessie, eyes wide with concern. Are you okay, Mayim? What happened? She was about to answer when a sudden commotion erupted from the darkness. The man reappeared, launching himself onto the dock again, an object glinting menacingly in his hand. The situation spiraled. Get back! Jessie shouted, instinctively pushing Derek behind her as the surreal nightmare intensified. Jessie, run! Derek shouted back, panic flooding his voice, slicing through the chaos. But it was too late. The dock was their prison, and the night concealed everything but their grim fates. What would happen next? Jessie's heart raced as she faced the incoming storm. Jessie's heart pounded as the man barreled toward them, the glinting object transforming the dark night into a bright white panic. She could see the menacing outline of a knife catching the police lights, and her gut twisted with dread. Derek! She screamed, urgency flooding her veins. We have to move. But before she could pull him away, the man lunged. Jessie's instincts kicked in, and she shoved Derek aside just as the knife sliced through the air, narrowly missing him. The metallic taste of adrenaline filled her mouth. Stop! A police officer shouted, drawing his weapon. The man hesitated, eyes darting between the officers and Jessie, who stood defiantly in the middle, ready to fight. Her heart thudded in her chest, but fury sparked in her chest. She'd die defending him if she had to. Let us see if you can play hero, sweetheart. He snarled. The officer shouted, drop the weapon. Now. The man cornered, weighed his options. His sneer morphed into something more sinister. I'll be back for you, Derek, he hissed, eyes burning with unrestrained malice as he shifted, slashing the knife through the air toward Jessie. The shot rang out loud and shocking. Jessie flinched, a jolt surging through her as she glimpsed the man stumble, the knife clattering to the dock. The angry figure turned and fled, weaving into the shadows, leaving behind only the heavy scent of fear and chaos. Are you hurt? An officer rushed toward them, concern etched across his face as he assessed Jessie and Derek. I'm fine, Jess managed to say, anxiety still hanging like a heavy fog. She turned towards Derek, who was pale, eyes wide. What was that? Who was he? Derek shook his head, trying to soothe his trembling hands. A ghost from my past, but more than that. Yes, tied to everything I've been running from. Before she could respond, sirens blared louder now as more officers flooded the area. Jessie's breath came quick, still in shock. What do you mean running? Are they after you? He hesitated, the fear creeping back into his eyes. I thought I was safe here. But if he found me, they could all find me. This is only the beginning, Jessie. Around them, officers worked to secure the area, flashlights illuminating the creaking dock from every angle. Jessie felt the world spin, the ground beneath her suddenly solid but unsteady. We have to get out of here, she urged. You can't stay here. They'll come back. Where can we go? Derek asked, visibly shaking. I can't put you in danger. It's my mess. Like hell, she replied fiercely, a warmth flooding her soul as she locked eyes with him. I won't let you shoulder this alone. We stick together. The officer nearest them turned, listening intently. You should leave now. They're going to want statements. You too, but Jessie wasn't listening. She grabbed Derek's arm, feeling the weight of his fears drawing her down. No more running. We find a way to end this, Derek. Together. He breathed deep, the air unsteady. What if we can't? A shadow flickered in the periphery, a shift of movement that sent cold knots of fear down her spine. The uncertainty sparked anew. Before she could open her mouth, a voice broke through the tension, a low, familiar hiss from the darkness. You're not going anywhere. Jessie's blood ran cold as the figure appeared again, emerging like a nightmare made flesh, and she knew in that moment, the real battle was just beginning. What awaited them in the depths of the night? The chilling truth lurked just beyond the revelations they'd yet to face. The air thickened with tension as the figure stepped forward, silhouetted against distant police lights. Jessie's heart raced. She barely registered Derek's hand squeezing hers, a desperate anchor of warmth in the cold grip of fear. Leave us alone, she shouted, her voice trembling but fueled with courage. Cute, the man sneered, his eyes glinting with menace. But you should know I have unfinished business with Derek. And he doesn't get to walk away this time. Jessie felt the sense of urgency clawing at her throat. She couldn't let this go any further. Glancing around, she was acutely aware of the officers scrambling to secure the perimeter, flashlights sweeping anxiously for any sign of the threat. What do you want? She demanded, trying to keep her voice steady even as dread coiled in her gut. Don't you see? The man stepped closer, confidence oozing from him, as if he thrived in chaos. I want to finish what we started. You're just in the way. Derek's grip tightened around her forearm, pulling her slightly behind him. Don't you dare come any closer. He barked, a sudden eruption of bravado that startled Jessie. But the man only chuckled, the sound shallow and chilling. You think you can protect her? He took another step forward. You're weak, Derek. You always have been. The words hit Derek like a blow, and instincts flared inside Jessie. She pushed him back and stepped forward, feeling a fierce pulse of bravery. You don't know what you're messing with. Then show me, he challenged, eyes narrowing. Before she could respond, 2 police officers advanced, weapons drawn, ordering the man to freeze. Jessie felt hope flickering, but it was quickly drowned out by dread as the man's face contorted in fury. I'll come for you, Derek. This isn't over. And without warning he bolted toward the darkness, blending seamlessly into the night. No, Jessie shouted as she instinctively lunged forward, but Derek caught her arm, pulling her back. Let him go. It's a trap. She paused, breathing hard, the adrenaline still coursing through her. But he will come back. We need to get to safety, Derek said, his voice shaking but resolute. He'll try to get to you first. Reality crashed over her like a wave. What do you mean, get to me? Panic drew tighter around her chest. What does he want with me? He thinks, Derek gulped, his eyes darting toward the retreating shadows as if the man might re-emerge at any moment. He thinks you can help me. That I can leverage you to get back what I owe him. What? The horror twisted in her stomach, the implications hitting her like a freight train. I'm just a teacher. I have no part in this. Exactly. His voice dropped, bleak and urgent. And that's why you're in danger. The officers were starting to regroup, some still scanning the area, their expressions torn between the pursuit and the protection of those left behind. Let us get out of here. Jessie didn't care about anything else. She didn't care that she had no idea where to go. Only that standing still felt like a death sentence. We need a plan. Plan? He looked at her incredulous, his face pale in the flashing light. All I've done is run. I don't know how to fight back. Then we figure it out together. She insisted, her heart beating with a determination that surprised even her. I won't let my life fall apart because of your past. Derek's eyes softened, but fear still loomed behind them. And what if he comes for you, Jessie? She inhaled sharply, preparing for whatever was to come. Then we stand and fight. Before she could say anything else, the man's voice laughed eerily in the distance. It echoed off the docks, a haunting reminder that their nightmare was far from over. The chase had just begun, and they were still stumbling through the shadows, unaware of the true horrors lurking just beyond the edge of light. What fresh terror awaited them in the depths of their entwined fates? They didn't waste another second. Jessie and Derek sprinted toward the nearest building, a faded old warehouse that loomed at the edge of the docks. It felt like a refuge from the chaos, from the darkness, but mostly from the man who had threatened them. Inside, the air was stale, and the distant sound of water lapping against the piers added a haunting rhythm to their ragged breaths. Do you think we lost him? Jessie gasped, leaning against a crumbling cement wall. Her mind swirled with questions, but one pierced through the noise. How did Derek get tangled up with someone so dangerous? Derek shook his head slowly, his eyes scanning every corner, every shadow. Not yet. He knows this place. We need to keep moving. Where to? Stairs. There's an old office. It'll give us a better view, a chance to plan. His voice was steady, yet a tremor lurked beneath it. Jessie heard it, and it coiled tight around her heart. While they climbed the rickety staircase, the floorboards creaked ominously beneath their feet. If the man was tracking them, they'd made a terrible mistake staying put. Jessie pushed the thought aside. What exactly does he want, Derek? I didn't tell you everything. He hesitated, his brow furrowing. This isn't just personal. He believes I owe him money, but it's not that simple. That was an understatement if she'd ever heard one. What do you mean? Derek took a deep breath, steeling himself. Years ago, things got messy. I thought I was free. I thought I left that life behind. But he won't let me go. He wants something I have, something he thinks I hid away. Her pulse quickened. What could you possibly have? A ledger. A record of dealings. The way he said it made Jessie shiver. If he gets his hands on it, everything I've built my life, your safety would be at risk. A sudden noise from below made her jump. The clatter of footsteps echoed in the vast emptiness of the warehouse. Jessie felt her heart stop. They hadn't lost him. He was right behind them. They were trapped. Derek pressed his back to the wall, peering through a cracked window. I see him. His voice was a stark whisper. He is searching, but he doesn't know we're up here. What do we do? Jessie felt frantic. The shadows heaved and danced below them, the threat palpable. Stay quiet, he whispered harshly, mouth tight as he pulled her closer. They crouched low, breaths shallow, hearts thundering in sync. The figure moved deftly, scanning the warehouse like a predator hunting its prey. Jessie could see the outline of him through the grime. He glided around, his every move calculated, sinister. I'll distract him, Derek suddenly decided. His expression fierce as he pulled a rusty pipe from an old pile of debris. You hide. Are you crazy? No. She clutched his arm tight. We're in this together. I won't let you do this alone. Jessie, you don't understand. Before he could finish, the man's voice rang out through the building. Rich with mockery. Come out, Derek. You know this is just the beginning. Anguish tightened around Jessie's throat. She glanced around, frantically searching for any sort of escape route. Derek's intensity shifted. The fear in his eyes morphed into a wildfire of determination. I'll do whatever it takes to protect you, Jessie. Just trust me. The man's laughter echoed again, sinister in the stillness, and then a loud crash shattered the moment. The next sound was like glass breaking, a window exploding as the man flung a brick through the glass. Run! Derek yelled, urgency slicing through the fragmented silence. Jessie's heart thundered. She didn't know what lay ahead, but they had to get out of there. They bolted from the office, pushing through the door just as the warehouse erupted in chaos. The chase was far from over. As they plunged into the darkness, dread and hope intertwined within them. Now their escape depended on speed and fate, but as Jessie darted forward, she couldn't shake the feeling that the true battle was yet to begin. Would they make it out alive? Or would the past catch up with them both? And how far was the shadow behind them willing to go? The darkness wrapped around them like a cloak as they fled down a narrow corridor that smelled of salt and old wood. Each step echoed loudly in Jessie's ears, drowning out everything but the panic clawing at her throat. Derek, what's the plan? She breathed, glancing back over her shoulder. He was moving fast, his jaw set in determination, but dread flickered in his eyes. We've got to reach the loading bay. It might lead us to the streets. He pushed ahead, his fingers brushing against the cool steel walls, feeling for a door, an exit, anything. They reached a door at the end of the passage. Derek paused, pressing his ear against the cold metal. Silence. He turned to Jessie, his expression hardening. Okay, go. What if he's out there? He won't expect us to rush out. We just need to go as fast as we can. With a nod, dread swirling in her belly, Jessie gripped the handle and flung the door open. The loading bay lay before them, vast and empty. Shadows loomed in the corners, but they had no time to hesitate. They dashed across the gritty floor, skidding to a stop at the edge of the bay's large entrance. Just outside, the moonlight illuminated the dock, casting everything into sharp relief. Jessie's heart plummeted. A black SUV sat idling near the edge of the lot, a menacing silhouette waiting in the darkness. Jessie! Derek's voice pierced through her moment of paralysis. He grabbed her arm, pulling her back into the shadows. We can't go that way. She felt the tension in his body radiating off him, and it sent shivers down her spine. Where do we go? She whispered. Along the side. There are crates there. He pointed toward the stacked wooden boxes that might shield them. They slipped behind the crates, hearts racing, breaths coming in ragged gasps. What do we do now? Jessie could barely force the words out. Fear knotted her stomach. Derek peered out, scanning their surroundings. We wait. For now. Noise suddenly crashed through the night. The crunch of footsteps, heavy and deliberate. Jessie held her breath. The man was closer now, the sound of his presence enough to send adrenaline rushing through her veins. Derek, she hissed, trembling as her pulse thudded in her ears. Shoo! he urged, eyes darting toward the faint sound. The man called out, his voice dripping with malice. You think you can run forever? You're only delaying the inevitable. Jessie's hand shook at her sides as she stole a glance over the wooden crate. The man was drawing closer, a dark figure moving with unsettling confidence. Then shocking clarity struck Jessie as she caught a glimpse of his face illuminated by the flickering overhead lights. It was someone she recognized younger in the picture she had seen, but unmistakable. This wasn't just any threat. This was someone with ties to a world Derek had tried to escape. Jessie Derek's voice was a low warning. Stay down, he can't see you. She fought against the instinct to bolt. Derek, that's Marcus Reed. He's at the heart of this. I've seen him before. Marcus. He nibbled at his lip, piecing together the past. Why does that matter? We need to go. Her mind raced with the implications. What if Marcus was the key to unraveling everything? But fear clenched at Jessie's chest. He won't let you leave without a fight. No, Derek grit out, his resolve hardening. He won't take me at all. Marcus's voice sliced the tension in the air, mocking and cruel. You think hiding will save you? You owe me, Derek. I always collect my debts. In the heavy silence, Jessie's heart dropped. Derek turned to her, eyes blazing, determination shining through the fear. We can't let him take you. We fight together. Just follow my lead. As Jessie nodded, they both knew there was no turning back now. The confrontation loomed ahead, a clash of past and present, where everything might change. But they were about to discover just how far the darkness would stretch in pursuit of them, because Marcus was not just any shadow. He was a storm converging. Are you ready? On three we run, Derek whispered, tension throbbing between them. Jessie felt the weight of the words settle around her like an anchor. But in this moment, she forced the fear from her voice and met his gaze. Together, she affirmed, steeling herself. 1, 2, 3. They bolted into the open, hearts racing, but Jessie couldn't shake the feeling that a much darker secret lurked just beneath the surface. One that could shatter everything they thought they knew. What would happen when they faced the storm head-on? They exploded into the moonlit night, the cool air hitting them like a splash of water. Jessie felt a spark of hope mix with sheer terror as they surged forward. Adrenaline surged, and with every rapid step, the realization of their freedom spurred them on. Yet, Marcus's voice echoed in her mind, a cruel reminder of what awaited them. Derek shot a quick glance over his shoulder, then surged ahead, pulling Jessie with him. We stick to the shadows, he barked, guiding her toward a line of parked trucks that offered momentary concealment. They ducked behind one, their bodies pressed against the cold metal. Breathless, Jessie felt warmth creeping up her neck, panic mingling with the biting chill. What does he want with you? She gasped, trying to catch her breath. Derek hesitated, his features shadowed in the dim light. It's not just me, Jessie. There's more debts I haven't paid. The words hung heavy in the air, each syllable laced with dread. More footsteps thundered nearby, loud and deliberate. Marcus was hunting for them, a wolf on the prowl. Jessie bit her lip, fear twisting her insides. What kind of debt? She pressed, a sinking suspicion creeping into her mind. People can die for less, Jess. I won't let that happen to you. His voice was firm, but the flicker in his eyes told a different story, one of desperation and regret. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered the stillness, as one of the crates stacked nearby toppled over from a heavy shove. There they are, Marcus shouted, his voice slicing through the shadows. You can't run from what's been set in motion. The sound propelled them back into motion, darting from behind the truck just as a spotlight flicked on, illuminating the loading bay with blinding brightness. Jessie felt her heart in her throat as they raced toward the edge of the lot, desperately searching for an escape route. Over there. Derek pointed to a service door at the far end of the bay. The way seemed impossibly far, but they had no choice. They sprinted in unison, Jessie's lungs burning as she forced her legs to keep moving. Each step felt heavier, the weight of impending doom pushing against her. Derek's grip tightened around her hand, his presence a grounding force that quelled the rising panic. Then, everything shattered. The SUV roared to life, engine revving, tires screeching against the asphalt as Marcus climbed in, his silhouette framed by the glow of the headlights. Catch them, he shouted. Terrified, Jessie looked around. Derek, we can't let him corner us. He nodded, his resolve hardening. We've got to split up. LL confuse him. Split up? Jessie protested, the idea sending icy dread coursing through her. She couldn't bear the thought of being alone, not now. Trust me. I'll lead him away. Just head for the street and find a safe place. He squeezed her hand one last time. An unspoken promise that they would see each other again. Base instinct screamed at Jessie as they pulled apart, but she pressed on, heart pounding in her ears. The world blurred around her, panic radiating through each frantic step. She burst through the service door and into the night, the moonlight washing over her like a lifeline amid the dark chaos behind her. The SUV roared into motion, tires screaming against the ground as she heard Derek's voice rise in urgency. Run, Jessie. Fear twisted in her gut, but she fought against it, forcing herself to look ahead. Shadows danced around her, whispers of danger lurking just out of sight. She turned a sharp corner onto a side street, sprinting as hard as she could. Breathing heavily, Jessie felt her legs burning, muscles straining against the weight of anxiety. But as she turned another corner, a figure stepped into the light, a stranger, eyes wide with surprise. Hey, are you okay? He called out. For a second she hesitated, torn between safety and the stubborn refusal to look back. But something in his gaze reminded her of Derek's determination. Which way? To the main road? She gasped, breathless and desperate. Down that street. He pointed, urgency making his voice sharp. You've got to hurry. Jessie nodded, fear and adrenaline fueling her as she pushed past him. But as she reached the intersection, a bone-deep chill crawled up her spine. There, standing in the shadows, was Marcus. Did you really think you could escape so easily? His voice was low, mocking, sending a surge of ice through her veins, and that moment, Jessie realized there was nowhere left to run. She steeled herself, preparing to confront the darkness head-on. How deep did Marcus's control go? What had Derek truly pulled her into? As Jessie stood there, frozen in place, the question loomed large. What was she willing to sacrifice to protect the only person who mattered? The panic rose in Jessie as she faced Marcus, his presence cold and chilling like a winter storm. Her breath quickened, lungs burning as fear snaked around her heart. She glanced back, desperate for a way out, but there was Derek somewhere in the distance, his fate hung in the balance. Let him go, Jessie shouted, her voice quaking but fierce, the defiance ringing hard against the tension-filled night. She felt every ounce of her motherly instincts rising fiercely from her core, a protective shield against the evil gathered before her. He laughed, low and sinister. Oh, sweetheart, he drawled, taking a step closer, you still don't get it. This doesn't have to end this way. He beckoned her with a light flick of his fingers, eyes gleaming with danger. Come with me and I can promise you safety. I can give you everything, just let Derek face the consequences of his actions. Terror twisted at her insides, but she clenched her fists, determination reigniting her strength. You won't touch him. You're nothing but a coward hiding behind threats. I won't let you hurt him or anyone else. The moment stretched between them, a taut string ready to snap. Marcus's smile faltered, his annoyance flaring just beneath the surface. His fist tightened around something hidden in his coat. You really think you can protect him? It's cute but naive. You are in way over your head, girl. Behind Jessie the shadows flickered. A rush of footsteps echoed as Derek came into view, adrenaline pulsing through him like a wild animal unleashed. Jessie! He yelled, panic edging his voice, eyes darting between Jessie and Marcus. Get away from him. He'll use you to make me know. She called back, grounding them both in her resolve. I'll handle this. But the moment was fleeting. Marcus lunged. An instinct took over. Jessie's body reacted before her mind could catch up. With a surge of adrenaline she pivoted, sprinting to the side in a burst of energy that sent her heart racing. As he grasped for her, she slipped through an opening, her feet pounding against the pavement. Derek dashed beside her, equal parts fury and fear angling towards the fight. I can't let you face him alone. We need each other. Panic tasted bitter but resonated in their shared glances. Moments collided as they tried to outrun destiny, racing toward the dim light of the street, each step echoing the promise of survival. With a frantic gasp, Jessie shot a glance back, colliding with Derek's gaze. He understood, they were in this together. The darkness hovering behind them wouldn't win. They'd face whatever storm lay ahead as they reached the street. A cacophony of headlights flooded the road. Red and blue lights stung their eyes, and Jessie could feel the weight of hope pushing downward into desperation. Just then the figure of Marcus halted, a mask of rage twisting across his face, caught between shadows and neon illumination. "Get in the car!" an officer shouted, urgency slicing through the chaos. Derek grabbed Jessie's arm, pulling her toward the police vehicle parked on the curb. Jessie didn't hesitate. She leapt into the back seat while Derek followed right after. The doors slammed shut, sealing them in a fragile cocoon of safety as the car roared into motion. Jessie glanced back through the window. She caught a final glimpse of Marcus, eyes blazing, voice syrupy with anger as he screamed threats. But the distance between them stretched farther, and with it came the flickering flame of hope. "Are you both okay?" a concerned officer asked, stealing glances at them from the front seat. Jessie nodded, wrapping her arms around herself, warmth enveloping her against the chill of fear that lingered. Derek's fingers intertwined with hers, a silent promise shining through the terror they had faced. "Yeah, we're okay," Derek managed, a tremor in his voice belied by determination. "You won't believe what we just encountered," Jessie said, trying to catch her breath, trying to understand the weight of it all. The vehicle sped down the road, the promise of safety caressing their exhausted souls as they were. Whisked away from the darkness, Jessie's heart began to settle, yet something deep within her still trembled with anticipation. The battle was far from over. The past wouldn't just fade into the night. But together, maybe they could confront it, face the shadows head-on, claim the truth and emerge victorious. "What do we do now?" she asked as the reality sank in, the warmth of Derek's grip tucking her fears away. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice steady despite the uncertainty. "But we'll figure it out. Together." Jessie felt that familiar warmth inside her again. A flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could turn their trials into triumphs. This wasn't just the end, it was the beginning of reclaiming their lives. Ready to unearth the truths lying beneath the surface as the city lights blurred past them, Jessie looked into Derek's eyes, realizing they had survived more than a night of terror. They had confronted their pasts, fought for each other, and forged a new path together. And she knew even amidst the chaos this was only the beginning. Now don't just stand by. Subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that are waiting to unfold. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm the love it deserves. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories. What do you think will happen next? This is the moment to show your support. And for the true fans out there, share this video with at least 5 friends who absolutely need to see this thrilling conclusion. Don't wait even one more second.